which means that everyone who have participated or signed up for this webinar will get the recorded session as well. I will not share it with anyone else. I will only share it with you. It will be on a YouTube link though. So I will upload this session to YouTube on a private hidden link. So you will need the link to be able to watch this session. I just find that YouTube is way easier to rewatch such training sessions. My name is Dennis, and I live in Denmark. Just 1 second so you can better see me now. Yeah, I live in Denmark, and I've been working at Shelly since October 2022, so it's still a bit new. I'm responsible for sales in the Nordics, in Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, and the Baltics. I'm educated electrician, and in the past I've been working for an electric wholesaler responsible for the IBI department, Intelligent Building Installations. I've also worked 6 years in a big lighting company in technical support, sales, business development, etc. So I have a more technical mindset compared to many other salespeople. So you can ask technical questions in this chat, and if there's something that I cannot reply or respond to, then we will figure out later the answers to your questions. So let's just get started now. I will share my presentation again. And as mentioned, you can just type in your questions in the chat, and I will try to respond during this webinar when you type in your questions. So this is the basic course, the basic training session. So if you are new to Shelly or just have a bit experience and want to learn a bit more about the different kind of devices and how to do basic programming, how to make scenes, groups, etc., then this is something for you. Next week we would also have the more advanced session where we will go more deeper into how do we do if we want to create a more professional installation. So how do we set up static IP addresses? How do we do a more advanced local programming, HTTP commands, webhooks, etc. Even some scripting, some basic scripting we will do. So if you haven't already, you can sign up for this webinar as well. After this session today, when I do send the link to the recorded session and my presentation, I will also share with you where you can sign up for future webinars. All right, good. So as said, this is the basic one. Next week, we will have the more advanced session. We are also preparing some other sessions. So a session about the fleet management system, which is on its way. It's quite far actually. It's kind of a local cloud, so meaning you will be able to run a local cloud on a local server, which is more meant for professional solutions in offices, in larger building installations. I'm also considering to make some sessions about third-party platforms. It will mainly be the Home Assistant platform and the Homey. So this will come as well. So how to get started, very basic, and how to integrate your Shelly devices and do some basic programming with these third-party platforms. If you don't already know, then Shelly is based on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, but we also have another range which is called Shelly Cubino. The thing is that a few years ago, 1.5, 2 years ago, Shelly acquired the company called Cubino, which is a former manufacturer of Z-Wave or C-Wave devices, depending where it comes from. Now we are redesigning all of these devices, so we will have 2 complete portfolios, one with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and another one with C-Wave devices. So there will be a separate training session for those devices. And we are also considering to focus on some more professional SCADA and PMS systems, so how we can integrate more professional solutions as well. All right, a lot coming in the future. Today we'll go through the introductional part, so we'll talk about, I call it the Smart Home Challenge. There's a lot of manufacturers, which is not bad, but there's also a lot of protocols, and it can be very difficult to figure out what should I choose, how do I make things work together, and so on. What is Shelly? Who is the company behind? Our fundamentals, a bit about connection and communication. I will show you the complete product range. I'll also explain differences between the products. So we're basically having different product colors. So you'll see here on my camera, we have some blue devices, some red devices, some yellow, green devices. These colors defines the functionality of the device basically. So I will talk a bit about that and where to use different device types. One thing which is interesting, I think, is the built-in web server which we have in our Wi-Fi range, and a lot of built-in functions, which means that you only need one device to do a lot of different things. So we have a lot of built-in functions which differentiates us from other manufacturers of smart home devices. And then in the end, I'll go through the app, the web app overview. So I will do some live programming, show you some stuff from my own house, how I've set up my own house. So we will do grouping, scenes, automation, scheduling, heating and cooling control. And if there are more time at the end, we will talk a bit more about third-party platforms. But let's see, these 2 hours goes quite fast. All right. Shelly is a Bulgarian company founded in, well, I don't know exactly when it was founded. We launched the first product in 2016. And since then, we have had a very fast growth in the market. We started with something called Mikey, which is GPS watches for kids and elders. But our main portfolio today is the Shelly brand. And that's also the reason why we last year changed our company name from Altergo Robotics to Shelly. So we are Shelly Group now. So by far the most of our turnover revenue comes from Shelly, which is our main focus. So we have more than 11 million sold devices. I think it's 13 million now. We are selling a new device about every 6.5 seconds. We are active in more than 100 countries. We are still a small company though, compared to some of our competitors. So we are only around 200 employees at the moment. But out of those 200 employees, around 125 of them are in R&D department. So hardware, software, engineering, which means that we have a very high focus on development, the development of new products, new hardware, new software, new features. So there are constant improvements going on for our products. And we have very often new firmwares, which of course fix issues when there are issues, but also adds new features to devices. Even old devices will get new features once in a while. We're expecting a yearly growth of more than 50%. Last year, we ended up around 59%, so it's going quite good. And we're expecting the same this year, even though we are a small sales department. In the Nordics, we are at the moment 3 people. We will hire 1 or 2 new people in the Nordics this year, so it will help us a bit. Important to mention is that everything is developed from scratch, which means that we are not using any third-party platforms, devices, services. So this is one of the reasons to our success. It means that we can manufacture and produce our products very price competitive compared to competitors. And the price is one of our success factors, so we can provide a quite good quality, I would say a very good quality at the price level. We have 4 main product ranges. The Pro range, which is devices for DIN rail installation, like this one here. Then we have the retrofit range, which is small devices which can be built in the existing installation. We have actually the smallest relays in the world with built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. We have a sensor range, which is a range of door window sensors, motion sensors, humidity and temperature sensors, and so on. And then the plug and play range, which is some easy to install, smart bulbs, smart plugs, and so on. We have our own app. The app works on Android, on iPhone, on Huawei devices, smartphones, tablets, and we have a browser app so you can also access and do your programming through your computer if you want to. I prefer this, by the way. So that's what we're going to show today. Good. Enough about that. I call this the Smart Home Challenge. So really, I enjoy talking about smart home, and me myself are also using a lot of different smart home devices in my house, not just Shelly. Shelly is the main one, of course, but I use a lot of different technologies and also products from different manufacturers. And I like that you can include a lot of different smart devices in your own house and combine them. But there are some things that you should be aware of, and it can also become quite complicated. So there are a lot of manufacturers out there, you know that. There are also a lot of protocols, Wi-Fi, Zigbee, Bluetooth, Thread, etc. What are the differences? How can they work together? This is one of the questions. Then I also say here that there are no common standard or communication language, or is there? We are getting spammed with Meta at the moment. So when will we get Meta and so on? I will probably come back to this. We will launch Meta devices, but to be honest, there are still less than 100 Meta compatible devices worldwide at the moment. So it has not been a high priority for us, especially due to the reason that we work with most of the platforms out there already. Something about compatibility, reliability, support. How can you get support? Can you get support if you're a professional installer? And also open source platforms, which in my opinion develops much faster than professional smart home manufacturers. All right, if you look at the more professional solutions you can get from your wholesaler or distributor, then I don't say that everything is true of this, but at least one of them is typically true. So often there's a lack of functionalities. It can be that you can only do basic programming, or you can only do lighting and so on. It can also be that the devices are very expensive, or they require wiring. Nothing bad about this. It can also be that they are only wireless, which is also a bad thing. The systems can be complex, they can require a lot of training, education, and so on. It can be that they are know of just a few integrations, which I call a closed system. Typically, when companies are focusing on like only lighting or only heating, they're typically very good at it, which make them specialists. So nothing bad about this. The challenge here is when you are at the same time locking down your platform. So the customer will need to have one app for lighting, one app for heating, one app for your cover control, one app for something else. So you will end up having 5, 6, 7, 8 different apps. Then in my opinion, the smart goes off here. So I think that with our approach, we can change this a bit. Let's see. We'll discuss a bit more about this. In my opinion, this is what you want in your house or in your small office. So a complete system that can control everything. So I've just added some hubs here, some third-party gateways, because you will need that. I don't see any systems on the market that works with just everything in their own professional solution. So you will need some kind of a third-party app if you want to do everything without being able to do complex programming. Roller shutter control, household devices like your vacuum cleaner, your mower, dryer, etc. Climate control, so floor heating, radiator thermostats, heat pumps, and so on. Hi-Fi is also some devices which I really like to integrate in my smart home. So I use Sonos speakers, for example. I also have a lot of Samsung smart TVs. You might all know about this turn off everything button, which you can press and hold before you go to bed or before you leave your house. Back in the days, it was just a button for turning off all the lights. Well, yes, it was smart, and it still is, but I think it's much more convenient and smarter when you do this, turn off everything. It locks the door, it closes the blinds, it turns off the lighting, it turns off the music and televisions if you have those turned off or turned on. So you can do everything at one time. Turns on the alarm and so on. That's what you are able to do actually today, and it's not that difficult. Lighting, manual controls, which also something which I find very important. So I've seen so many people making smart installations based on wireless buttons. So they are basically skipping their wall switches and using wireless battery operated buttons. And it works just fine, but to be honest, there's always someday you have to change batteries, but there's always a bigger risk of failure when you are when you base your installation on wireless communication. Wireless communication works just fine, but in my opinion, it should be a second option. So if you're doing new installations or renovations, I recommend to do hardwired installations, but then you still have the option to reprogram and to change the functionality of your wireless switches and buttons. All right, sensors, humidity sensors, temperature sensors, door window sensors, motion sensors, everything important for making automations. Energy monitoring is something where we are very good in Shelly. So we see a huge increased focus on energy metering, energy controlling as well. So if you, for example, have your own solar system, you will be able to monitor whenever you have more solar production. When you're producing more solar energy than you are using at the moment, then you can use this overproduction to like turn on your water heater or turn on your electric car charger and so on. And by doing this, there are big potential for saving money in the end. Safety as well is getting very important. We cannot do everything. We know that. But my recommendations for you as professionals for doing professional installations, 1 second, I'll remove my camera a bit here, is to do it like this. So everything that just needs to work, your roller shutters, your climate, heating, cooling control, your lighting, energy metering, your wall switches, and your sensor control. You can set that up in the Shelly app. Then we have your back. We'll do support. We'll guarantee whenever there's an update, it will be compatible with your previous settings. So it will always work. But then you can still control your third-party devices. You can pick your favorite third-party platform and then do a parallel integration to one of these platforms. And then you can still control your Sonos speakers from your wall switches, turn on your vacuum cleaner, whatever you would like to do. It's still possible and it's not difficult to do. But it's more difficult for us as a company to do support for all of our 100 to 200 third-party compatible systems. Of course, we will help you as much as we can with Homey, with Home Assistant, with Google and Amazon, because we know these major platforms, but we cannot be experts in everything, even though we'll try. All right, just a recommendation. You can do it like this, and then you have your basic installation that just works. Good. When our owner and co-director today, Dimion Saad, developed this system years ago, he wanted something which is complete or as complete as possible. So meaning you can control lighting, heating, energy, blinds, roller shutters, etc. From one single system. It should also be user friendly. So you will be able to buy one single device, and I believe that you are able to set it up very quickly, very easily, without need for training first. And that's the whole idea. Basic settings should be possible to figure out how to do very easily. Energy metering. So we would like to have energy or power metering in as many devices as possible. So you will get as good overview of your consumption anytime. Value for money is important. We will try to do or be around half price compared to our main competitors, especially for our relays when it comes to when you compare quality and price. We would like a system which is retrofit, so you don't need to rewire anything. If you have an existing house, you can just install these small relays behind the wall switches in your ceiling box or wherever you want. Then you make it retrofit. You don't need any gateway to get started. You just need your wireless local Wi-Fi to be able to get started. If our existing scenes or programming options is not enough, then we have advanced features like scripting. So we have a light version of Java scripting implemented in Shelly, which means that you can, if you're able to do some kind of Java scripting, you will be able to integrate with many different things by doing scripting on your own. Or you can, to be honest, I cannot do scripting. I have not done any training in this, but I'm able to like copy existing scripts and make small adaptations of it. So there's a big scripting library out there with a lot of scripts made by the community. So you can quickly and easily import those scripts and adapt them to your own needs, which means that basically now you can integrate Tesla, Philips Hue, Sonos, a lot of different third-party systems inside Shelly by using scripting if you want to. Compatibility, as I mentioned, we have more than 200 third-party integrations, and it's of course all of the popular ones like Amazon Alexa, Google Home, Home Assistant, Home, SmartThings. But we also work with MQTT and webhooks. So we support a lot of things here, but with our open API, it is also possible to integrate Shelly devices into your own solutions. So we have a lot of customers who have built their own apps and who are using Shelly inside their own apps. And it's not just home users, it's professional companies also who are using Shelly devices to monitor temperature or to monitor power consumption, and to do different kind of special solutions around the world. High safety. With safety, I mean two different things. So first, we have fully GDPR compliant cloud service. Cloud service are based in Europe. It is a Google Cloud service we are using, so we are not sharing any data with any Chinese companies or anything. By the way, you are able to fully turn off the cloud service if you don't want it, so you can run 100% locally and don't share any information with us at all. Another thing is that we are having built-in safety features like over temperature, over voltage, over power consumption inside the devices. Good. As mentioned, the app is an option. It's completely free whether you want to use the app or not. Around 60% of all of our users are using our app. The rest is probably using Home Assistant or some kind of third-party platform instead. So you are able to set up Shelly devices on your local Wi-Fi without connecting or even downloading our app. It's possible, and I will show you almost how later. If you choose to use our app, you are able to monitor temperature, humidity, energy consumption, motion, and all of these things. You can control everything inside your house or office, like lights, heating, pumps, roller shutters, and so on. You can make automations, daily and weekly schedules, sunrise, sunset, and so on. We also have an alert function, so you can make alarm zones around, and you can get instant notifications if there's like a water leakage or gas leakage. if there's a window that's being opened while you're not at home, and so on. I will show you all of this later when I go to the live demonstration of the app. Good. This is just some of my recommendations or some pre-information about third-party platforms. Let me quickly remove my camera so it's not in the way like this. Good. Let's start from the left bottom. Homey is typically the third-party gateway I like to recommend. I really like this one. They are not as available around the world as many others, but they're getting there. They just launched the gateway in America. I think they are available in most of Europe at the moment. But this is a gateway, according to Atom Homey themselves, are supporting more than 50,000 different third-party platforms or devices. It's like a universal gateway, so if you buy one device and that it has already built in Z-Wave, Zigbee, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Thread. It's Matter compatible. It has 868 megahertz, 433 megahertz, and infrared built in. It has very advanced programming options, and it's very intuitive to use. They have something called Homey Advanced Flows. And very important is that it works without active cloud connection if your third-party devices are supporting that. So for example, if you're connecting your Shelly devices to Homey, it will still operate 100% locally through your local Wi-Fi. So if the internet goes down, it will still work. Habitat, I don't know much about it. I've just heard a lot of good things about it. It's also a gateway with built-in Z-Wave, Zigbee, and Wi-Fi. It also supports very advanced programming, and it works 100% locally without cloud connected. SmartThings is Samsung SmartThings, or the SmartThings Hub is probably the most popular of these ones. There are currently more than 60 million active users around the world. Samsung says that they are supporting more than 400 devices. I know that it is much more because they are supporting Z-Wave and Zigbee, which means that they support a broad range of devices within these protocols. Of course, Shelly worked perfectly with SmartThings as well. I don't think that the programming options is that advanced as on the other platforms. So that's why I don't use it on my own. I like it, but it's more basic. It's also a cheaper gateway compared to the others. Home Assistant is by far the fastest growing at the moment. It's the world's largest open source platform. With I just read in a newsletter that they have more than 28,000 volunteer developers every year. And by that, that's also what I mean with the fact that open source platforms are moving and developing faster than any professional companies out there. It also supports very advanced programming. If you want to, you can basically do everything. You can integrate all kind of technologies. You just buy the additional hardware that is needed. But it's also a very time-consuming platform. But if you like really going into dive deep into smart home and smart building, this is a nice platform. Amazon Alexa and Google Home is fine platforms as well, but I would never base my home on them. I know that Amazon is huge. Google is also quite big, but I don't think, my personal opinion, at least, is not that their automations is that good enough yet. But that's just some introductions. Amazon has very nice voice control, though, the same does Google. So you'll be able to make a voice control of your Shelly devices and all kind of smart devices with these two platforms. Good. What I need to mention is, again, this is open source platforms, and you can never really be sure that after the next update how will it work and so on. Typically it works great, but there are so many devices supported by these platforms. So the good thing is that we as Shelly are taking care of the home integration, of the Home Assist integration with our community. smart things as well, Google and Amazon. So we are really doing a lot to make sure that the integrations always works very good with our devices. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the products. So as I mentioned, we have 3 different ranges: the Pro range, the retrofit range, the sensor range, and the plug and play range. And let's just dive more deep into that. I also mentioned in the beginning that we are basing our functionality on the colors. So as you can see there, we have 3 different devices in red color. So here you can see all 3 of them. 2 of them here is small devices, if I can hit the camera, for built-in installation. One mini device, which is smaller, one plus device, which is a little bit bigger, still small enough to be installed most places. And then we have the Pro device, which is meant for installation in your electric panel. So the device functionality is the same, but of course there are still differences. So if we take the plus 1 PM, plus means that it is a second generation device. That's basically it. 1 PM means that it's a single channel relay with power metering. So all of these devices has a single relay with power metering. There are differences still though. So this one has the 1 PM the plus 1 PM has the 16 amps relay. It supports 110 to 240 volt AC, and it supports 24 to 30 volt DC. The Mini, due to the size, it's only possible to have a built-in 8 amps relay. It does only support mains power, 110 to 240 volt AC. It does not support any DC voltage. And then we have the Pro one, the Pro device, which has the 16 amps relay. It also only supports main voltage. The 2 small devices, the Mini and the Plus device, are only supporting wireless connection, Wi-Fi connection, and the Pro one supports wireless Wi-Fi connection, but also has the RJ45 LAN connection in the bottom, so you can make it hardwired to the internet if you want to do that. That's a question. To be clear, on the Plus, it can be powered by 24 to 30 volt DC. Yes, it can be powered by 24 to 30 volt DC. The thing is, when you power it with 24 to 30 volt DC, it also means, because it does not have dry contacts, so it will also be your switching voltage when you power it with that. And yes, the only 2 devices, the Mini and the Pro one, can only be powered by AC voltage. Yes, that's correct. Let me quickly grab some coffee. By the way, wiring diagrams can always be found online. They're being printed on the devices, but you can also find them online on kb.shelly.cloud. I'll just type it in the chat. Shelly.cloud. KB stands for knowledge base. And that's where you can find a lot of technical information about the products. Good. These devices can be used for a lot of solutions where you would like to have the single channel relay and the power metering, but typically it's like lighting, power outlets, fans, floor heating, different kind of pumps, like my pool pump. I use the plus 1 PM for my pool pump to control that one, which is actually very nice. I will talk. Let me just quickly explain that case. That's one of my favorite solutions. So I have my pool pump inside my house or outside my house, but it has to run 8 hours a day because it has to clean the water and circulate the water. But it's not necessary to let it run more than 8 hours. So why not make it run in the 8 cheapest hours a day? So by using a simple script, which is not made by me, but made by actually a Finnish company. or Finnish guy, then I'm able to make this Shelly +1 PM turn on my circulation pump for my pool pump at the 8 cheapest hours as a day automatically. So I'm saving a lot of money just by having one single Shelly device doing this for me. All right. Then we have the blue devices, Shelly 1. So there's no PM in the naming here. So PM devices has the power metering. Non-PM devices typically has dry contacts. So this is the reason why the blue devices all have dry contacts. So again, we have the plus one, this blue one here. We have the mini version of that device here. And then we have the Pro one. So same concept as with the with the red devices, the PM devices. This is just 3 different devices with dry contacts. So the Shelly 1 Mini has the 8 amps relay. It can only be powered by 110 to 240 volt AC. It has 8 megabyte of flash instead of 4 megabyte of flash. I'm sorry, there's a Danish sense here I need to delete. Which make this more future-proof. So Gen 3 comes with a newer hardware than older generations. Nothing makes the other ones bad. All right. The Shelly Plus one has the 16 amp relay. It can also be powered with more different voltages. So like mains AC, 110 to 240 volt AC. It can also be powered by 12 volt DC. Note that this is the only device we have that can be powered by 12 volt DC at the moment. It can also be powered by 24 to 48 volt DC. And we have the Shelly Pro one, which is the DIN rail mounted device, 16 amps relay, 110 to 240 volt AC. It, of course, again, like the other Pro devices, has the RJ45 LAN connection, and it's for DIN rail mounting. So what can these devices be used for? So because of the dry contacts, we can do much more, much different application with these. They are often used for like garage door control. We can control heat pumps which has the SG ready interface, which stands for I forgot about that. I'll come back to that. But which has this interface, which means that you can control them, you can set them in boost mode, and so on. You can control door locks, you can control lighting, inductive loads, you can control your irrigation systems with these devices because of the dry contacts. All right, next. Shelly dimmer. And here is a new device. Maybe some of you have been waiting for it. A lot of people have been waiting for the Pro dimmers for DIN rail mounting, and they are finally available. But you have to be quick because they are selling out very, very fast. And because of Chinese New Year, it will take a few months until we get more on stock. All right. We have the Shelly Dimmer 2, which is a first-gen device, actually. That's why it has a slightly different naming. It doesn't make it a bad device. It's actually a very, very good dimmer. So a single-phase dimmer, you can connect up to 200 watt LED or up to 240 volt incandescent or halogen light. There's a short question: how can we monitor the on-off status feedback of the appliances? I will show you that. You can see that in the app. Remind me if I forget, but when we go to the app live app view, I will show you how to do that. Good. It comes with a lot of built-in features. I will show you in the live demonstration what this device can do. It has automatic calibration, so that will automatically detect whether it should be leading edge or trailing edge. You can set the minimum brightness. You can define how fast the dimming should be, what kind of switch you have in front, and so on. A lot of built-in features. And then we have the Pro dimmer. Unfortunately, I don't have any nearby me here to show you on the camera, but we have two different versions of the Pro dimmer. So a Shelly Pro 1 PM, which is a single channel dimmer, a single 200 watt. And then we have a 2-channel 2 times 200 watt dimmer for DIN rail mounting in your electric panel. By the way, I forgot to mention that the Shelly Dimmer 2 also has power metering. That's a question. Let me just read. I'm not sure if we're coming into it, but I got a little confused about the difference between 10 to 240 volt dimmer and 0 to 10 volt dimmer. All right. 0 to 10 volt dimmer is working way different, but I'm not going into details of that. But these dimmers here is so-called phase cut dimmers. So they are used for all kind of normal dimmable bulbs, like halogen bulbs, LED bulbs, which is dimmable, and so on, using phase cut technology. This is the most used technology for dimming in normal households and so on. The 0 to 10 volt comes, I think it comes soon. 0 to 10 volt, just to mention that, I have it right here actually, so you can see it on the camera. 0 to 10 volt is basically just making a 0 to 10 volt signal, so you need a special driver or special what do you call it, special transformer in front of your lighting to be able to control it. So it's more for industrial applications, office applications, and so on. I'll come back to that with device. Shelly 2 PM devices. We have two different devices here. They are the black ones. So you can see them on the camera right here. And we don't have any minis of this one because it's two channel devices. So they have two built-in relays, and it's simply not possible to make it in the mini with two different two relays inside. The Shelly Plus 2 PM is this one, as shown here. It can be powered by 110 to 240 volt. That's a small mistake here. 240 volt AC. It can also be powered by 24 to 30 volt DC. It has 2 times 10 amps relays built in, but note that due to heating, you can only connect a total of 16 amps to this device. The Shelly Pro 2 PM is the device meant for the electric panel, of course. It also has 2 channels with power metering. Here it has 2 times 16 amps relays built in, but again, due to heating, you can only connect a total of 25 amps to this device, which is very often more than enough. What can we do with these devices? So you can have like 2 channels of light you can control individually. You can have 2 power outlets that you can control independent, and you can also read and monitor the power consumption of the devices independent on each channel. But they also support the cover control function, which means that inside the device settings, you can choose if you want to use them as relays or if you want to use them as cover controls, which means that you can control your blinds, your shutters, your rollers, curtains, awnings, and so on. In general, 2-way AC motors can be controlled with these devices here. But you have to choose that in the device settings inside the app. Okay. This is the Shelly RGB-W2, which is a 4-channel LED strip controller. Basically, it's just a 12 volt or a 24 volt controller. So you need to install this after your transformer or after your LED driver. So it will, supply this device with 12 volt or with 24 volt. And depending on the voltage, you'll of course be able to control different wattage outputs. So if you're using 12 volt, you can connect 45 watt per channel. If you're using 24 volt, you can connect 90 watt per channel. But in total, maximum of 144 watt at 12 volt or 288 watt at 24 volt output. It supports two different modes, so you can set it up in RGB or RGBW mode, which means that you have one button inside the app, so you can control on/off the dimming, and you can also make color control if you have RGB or RGBW light strip connected. If you set it up in white mode, then you have 4 outputs, and you'll be able to control 4 independent individual light strips, white light strips, or a single monotone color. Let me show you something new, because now when you're attending this webinar, I'll show you something which is not official yet. So this device here is actually the new version that will be launched very soon. So it's in testing right now, and I'm sorry for the quality. The sun is shining directly on the device. But very soon we'll launch a new version of this device, so a Shelly Plus RGBW controller. Good. Here it is, the 0 to 10 volt dimmer. What you should be aware of with this device is that it is running in sync mode, which actually means that this device is not sourcing the power itself. It is you need to have some kind of transformer which can source or generate the 0 to 10 volt signal. So it can control an existing 0 to 10 volt luminaire. So you can use it for controlling your 0 to, or 1 to 10 volt luminaires easily with this device, and it works very good. Very soon we'll launch a new device which runs in sourcing mode, which can actually generate the 0 to 10 volt voltage itself, which means that it's much easier to use it for different applications like ventilators, motors, and so on, which don't source the power on its own. Good. I hope it makes sense. It's difficult to explain. Good. We have some input modules, the Shelly i4 device, and we have 2 different input modules. With input modules, I mean that there are no built-in relay, there are no built-in dimming inside these devices. They can read on-off signals, and they can read short push, double push, triple push, long push signals. So it's pure input modules. There are 2 different devices, Shelly Plus i4 and Shelly Plus i4 DC. The Shelly Plus i4 is meant for mains voltage, 110 to 240 volt mains voltage, and the Plus i4 DC is meant for 5 to 24 volt DC voltage. So both of these devices has 4 inputs, therefore the naming i4 input 4. And they will be able to read different kind of inputs like wall switches, motion sensors connected, or twilight relays connected to these devices. So basically they can just see are there a signal coming in or not. And inside the device settings, you also have to set up the functionalities. So if they should read a single on-off signal, or if they should monitor push signals like short push, double push, triple push, and long push signals. So with these devices, you can make wireless programmings. You can install them behind your wall switch, and then if you have a short push, then you can control your relay or dimmer or so on. There's a good question in the chat if there are any modules for the DALI protocol. It's not yet, but we are working very intensive on the DALI device. And I guess we will launch it within the next 2 months. So it's in certification at the moment. So we need to make a certification for the DALI device. But it is working, it's developed, and it's working now in our test facilities. Another question. So do these read these inputs, and then you would use action scripts to tell, for example, a +1 to do something? Yes, exactly. So what you can do is if you install this input module behind your wall switch, and if there's a short push, then you can tell by a scene or a HTTP command to turn on this device or another device or a group of devices. At the same time, you can also add a motion sensor on the second input, and if there's like motion, then it can turn off or on or off a device. So yeah, then you just make the programming. I will show you an example how to make the programming when you go to the live programming session. Good. Shelly Plus add-on module. This is one of my favorite devices. So it's a small module. Here there's some pinouts. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but they can fit to any Plus devices here in the same size. So you can just connect them. So you just find the relay that fits with the functionality that you want, and then you connect this device. You just connect it like this. Then you have added extra functionality to your Shelly devices. So the Shelly Plus add-on is an analog and digital input device. So what can we do with that? You can add up to 5 different DS18B20 temperature sensors to this device. We are not developing or manufacturing this temperature sensor on our own, but we are selling it, reselling it though. And you can add from 1 and up to 5 devices to this. There's a question if it can read 0 to 10 or 4 to 20 milliamps. It can read 0 to 10 volt. If I remember correctly, it cannot read 4 to 20 milliamps. Then you need to use the Shelly Plus Uni. I might be mistaken, but let's follow up on that. You can add the GHT22 temperature and humidity sensor to this. You can add water leakage sensors. You can add sound sensors, soil moisture sensors, pressure mats, light sensors, PRI, motion sensors, pressure sensors, anemometers, wine sensors, ultrasonic sensors, capacitive liquid sensors, reed switches, or many other different kind of Arduino sensors basically can be added to this device, and then you can read the information. That's a question if it can read resistive analog inputs. To be honest, I've not tested it that much. You might need to go read more about it in the documentation or test it. If there's a question if there's any examples of wiring, yes. So if you go to our website that I just wrote in the chat before, then you can find different examples of wiring. If you join the advanced session next time, I will also show some wiring examples, and maybe I will do some setup, a test setup if there's time for it, to show how we can add and control some of these information here. Yeah. Good. We have 2 more relays for DIN-Ray, the Pro 2 and the Pro 3. So basically they have the same functionality. The left one is just a device 2-channel relay, and the right one is a 3-channel relay. So the first one here is the Shelly Pro 2, a DIN-Ray relay with 2 times 16 amps relay built in. It has dry contacts, so you can actually have 2 different phases on the output here if you want to do that. It supports 110 to 240 volt AC and unofficially 24 volt AC also on the input. But it's not official, but it does work and comply with 24 volt on the input as well. Then we have the Shelly Pro 3. It's just a 3-channel relay with dry contacts, so you can have 3 different phases connected to this device. Yeah, and of course they also have 2 and 3 inputs as well. A question. So this kind of the plus 1, 2, or yeah, basically it just, let me just quickly show you on the camera. So no, I need to find the right device. Yes, here, the blue one channel. The gray one, I already thrown it away. Where is it? Here. The gray one, 2 channel. And this one has 3 channels. All the same functionality. The difference is the amount, the number of relays. 1, 2, and 3 relays built in. Yes. But they all have dry contacts and so on. So it means that you can use them for the same kind of applications like garage doors, heat pumps, door locks, lighting, inductive floats, like that. And yes, all devices meant for DIN-Rail has the RJ45 LAN connection. Exactly. Good. We also have a 4-channel relay for DIN-Rail with power metering. So this one here is the Shelly Pro 4PM, one of our most sold devices, especially for DIN-Rail mounting. It has 4 times 16 amps built-in relays. You can connect up to 40 amps power at the same time, which is, I would say, more than enough for most applications. You very rarely have 14 amps fuses because this is a single phase device. Remember that you cannot have multiple phases, even though it has multiple relays, because they are all connected inside. So you have 1 power or 1 input and 4 outputs for this device. It's a great device though for controlling lighting, power outlets, fans, floor heating, and so on. I'm using this to control lighting in my basement, but I'm also using it to control my floor heating on my first floor where I'm sitting now. I'll show you how, because I have exactly 4 strings of floor heating. So it fits perfectly for my floor heating, and we have a built-in function for controlling floor heating inside the Shelly app. So it's very easy and quick to set up a floor heating control. What I also like is that it has this color screen with navigation keys, so you can, from the device itself, very easily turn on and off each output, and you can monitor and read the current power consumption of each channel. Good. We have one more device with the exact same hardware, but meant so it has another firmware for cover control. So this is the Shelly Pro Dual Cover PM, and with this device you are able to control 2 different blinds, shutters, rollers, curtains, and something like that. Good. We have different kind of energy metering devices. So we have some devices called power meter devices, like the Shelly PM Mini. So it has power metering, which stands for power. So it measures the power consumption. But then we also have energy meters, which measures not just the power, but also the voltage, the amps, the power factor. So you get much more information about your power consumption or energy consumption, energy metering. But this small device here is a device that I really like a lot. It's a very, very small device. It has no relay or inside. It is a pure power meter. So when you connect mains power to this device and one of your outlets, then there's no chance to turn off the connected devices, which make this device perfect for your freezer or a fridge, or to control, or not to control, but to measure the power consumption of devices where you don't by accident want to turn them off. Good. You can measure up to 16 amps in this very small relay because there's no built-in relay. Good. The Shelly EM, I don't have it nearby me right here, but it has the same size as the Plus devices here. Then you have to buy additional separate coils, so you can current transformers, so you can buy and connect up to 2 times 50 amps current transformers or 2 times 120 amps current transformers. Then this Shelly EM device has a built-in 2 amps relay, which you can use to control a separate, what do you call it, contactor or something like that for contactor control. And then we have the Shelly Pro EM50. So I have it right here. Unfortunately, I forgot to prepare any current transformers. But for this device, you'll get included 2 times 50 amps current transformers, which means that you are able to monitor on a single phase 2 times 50, up to 50 amps power consumption, voltage, and current power factor. It has the 2 amps built-in relay for contactor control. It has real-time clock, so if you lose the power connection, if you're losing your Wi-Fi connection or anything, you will still monitor. And when the internet comes back, it can then upload all of your measurements to the cloud if you have cloud enabled. It has a very high precision of 99%. And of course, the RJ45 LAN port in the bottom of the device. We also have 3-phase devices. So for 3-phase power metering or energy metering, we have 2 different devices. So we have the Shelly Pro 3 EM 120 amps, and we have the Shelly Pro 3 EM 400 amps device. So this is some very huge current transformers, but they are also able to monitor up to 400 amps on each current transformer. Again, very high precision, and the cool thing about these devices is that they cannot just monitor your consumption, but if you have solar panels or something like that, it can measure both ways. So it can actually measure what you are generating from your solar panels or windmills or something like that. And based on that, you can make some energy control inside your building. A good question, if other standard coils can be calibrated to them. No, unfortunately not. I cannot guarantee the precision if you use third-party coils. Basically, it will work, but I cannot guarantee the precision because when you buy these devices, they are coming pre-calibrated from us. So there will be numbers A, B, and C on the coils, so you'll be able to see exactly how you can connect them. I've never tried it, so I will not tell you how it can be done. Additionally, you will be able to buy the Pro EM switch add-on, which can be connected. So the Shelly Pro 3 EM 120 and 400 does not have any built-in relays. What you can do with the device is that you can use the device for monitoring your power consumption, and then you can make a wireless programming. So if you have like an overproduction of green energy, then you wirelessly can make it turn on and off your relays. But if you want things to run 100% locally, then you can buy the switch add-on, which you just connect directly to the device, and then you have local 100% local control, energy control. There's a question if there's a plan for higher amp coils. Yes, there actually is. I think there's a plan for 1 kiloamps or 2 kiloamps coil. Then will be these wires. But I know they have found the coils to be used, but the challenge is they need to find a place where they have enough consumption for the calibration. So I don't know. I cannot tell anything about when it will be released. You can only connect a single add-on to the device. Good. Then we have the Shelly wall display. Very nice wall display that reacts very nicely, I think. So immediate reaction when you're pressing the device, sliding, and so on. So I really like this device. It's a 4-inch touchscreen. It's Android based. You just need to connect it to mains voltage 110 to 240 volt, and then you power it up. And then you have to connect it to your Wi-Fi. And when it is connected to your Wi-Fi, you will be able to control all of your devices inside your house from this device. On the front screen, you will be able to select from 1 and up to 6 of your favorite devices. So you have quick access to up to 6 different devices from the front screen. If you slide to the side, you will be able to control all of your devices inside the same room as it is located. If you slide again, you can control all scenes and all groups inside the same room as this device is located. If you scroll to the left side, you'll be able to add your devices to your favorite list. So you can add a lot of devices to your favorite list from your whole house or building. It has built-in temperature sensor. It has built-in humidity sensor. It also has a built-in lux sensor, so you'll be able to measure the brightness inside your room. With the lux sensor, it can automatically adjust the brightness of the screen. So when you stand up in the night time, it can have lower brightness automatically. It's a very cool feature. It has a built-in 5 amps relay if you want to have some local control from the device. And one thing I really like is that it has multi-touch functionality. So you can imagine it can be very annoying to look at the screen and then here press to turn on and off some basic light or something like that. So by multi-touch with 2 fingers anywhere on the screen or more, then you can set it up to control the built-in relay or third-party relay to control some standard light or relays if you want to do that. It also has a slide up function. So if you slide from the middle of the screen and upwards, then you can control something different. And if you slide from the middle and downwards, then you can control something completely different again. So it's very cool and flexible device you have right here. Yeah, good. Here, just some screen dumps or pictures from the device itself, how it looks like. By the way, I forgot to mention, in the recent one of the recent firmware updates, we enabled the thermostat function, so you can use the device as well as a thermostat controller. So from this device screen here, you'll be able to see what is the current temperature and what is your set point of your room. So nice little feature. Shelly Plus Uni is a universal module, so it's also a quite new device, and I like it a lot. It can be connected with a wide range of voltages, so like 5 volt DC, 9 to 28 volt DC, 8 to 24 volt AC. It has 2 digital inputs and 1 analog input. It has a volt CC sensor. It has a pulse counter, which is the new big difference from the old Shelly Uni. So now we can start counting pulses for like metering of your water metering, heating metering, gas metering, etc. If there's a pulse output of those meters, then you can start counting it. And you can add your different formulas. So you can say X numbers of pulses equals to these amounts of cubic meters of water and so on. It has 2 dry solid state relays built in. Yeah, this is device I mentioned as a question in chat for 4 to 20 milliamps control. Yes. Good. If you learn to use this device, you can use it for a lot. Door phone system, alarm systems. A lot of people use them to control the extractor hoods. So when they start cooking, the hood can automatically turn on, pulse counting, and so on. There's a lot of use cases for this device. Just 1 second, I need something to drink. Good. The plug and play range is something that everyone can install on their own. So we have the Shelly plugs, very popular smart plugs because they are so compact. They're not very big. They have this nice little LED ring, which by default changes colors from green to yellow to red, depending on the consumption, the live consumption. You can, of course, turn this off if you have a wife who doesn't like colors, but you can also, by scripting, you do a lot of different things. So if you, like us here in Denmark, have like hourly pricing, electricity prices, I know that someone made a script for these plugs so they can change color depending on the current electricity price, which is a quite cool feature. You can also program it to turn on in the nighttime, so the kids have some dimmed light in the room, and do a lot of different kind of things with this. We have the 16 amps relay, and then we have a range of smart bulbs, some A6TE27 bulbs, past 16 GO10 bulbs, and some vintage bulbs as well. Of course, the market is overflood with these devices, but we still want to have it to make our system as complete as possible. We have the Shelly TRV, the radiator thermostat, and unfortunately this is being phased out at the moment. And this is not something we wanted to do, but the chip we got was coming from Silicon Labs, and they couldn't get the raw material for the chips. So they decided to stop the production of the chip, which means that we cannot produce or manufacture any more of these TRVs. But don't fear, because we are in the development of 3 new radiator thermostats, and we really expect these to be available before the heating season this year. So they will come out later this year, Wi-Fi version, Bluetooth version, and a Z-Wave version. We have the Shelly Flood. Then we have some whole new Shelly H&Ts here. So I only have this one in ivory, I think, or is it mocha color? To be honest, it's not my favorite color. I like them in white and matte black. But they have upgraded a temperature sensor and humidity sensor. They also have got the small clock, so you'll be able to check what time is it at the moment. So 4 different colors. Slightly improved, but they have the new chipset, so they are ready for future improvement and upgrades, like the Meta, for example. We have a gas sensor, LPG or CNG sensor, so there are 2 different versions depending on the type of gas you want to measure. And then we have the Shelly Plus smoke sensor, which is a wireless battery operated smoke sensor with around 3 years of battery lifetime. It comes with the battery included. Good. Some Bluetooth sensors. So we have the Shelly Blue 1 button, which is, well, very small Bluetooth button right here. Now you might get confused. So why are we now talking about Bluetooth? And a few minutes ago we were talking about Wi-Fi devices. So there's a good reason for that. To be honest, this I'm showing here on the camera is a first generation Wi-Fi button. I think that the design is quite nice, but to be honest, I didn't like the device very much, because from when you pressed the device, you had to wait for like 2, 3, 4 seconds until the light would turn on. The reason for that is Wi-Fi battery operated devices often goes into sleep mode to save power. And from the time you press the device, it has to wake up, it has to connect to the Wi-Fi, and then it has to send the wireless command to turn on the light. And it just takes time for these devices. Bluetooth, though, is a low energy protocol. So it means that you can make the devices much smaller. The battery lifetime will be much longer. And the reaction time is extremely fast. So from the second you press this device, it will only take a few milliseconds, then it will connect and turn on the light. And how can this be done to control your Wi-Fi devices? So The cool thing is that in all Shelly Plus, Pro, and Gen 3 devices, we have built-in Wi-Fi, but we also have built-in Bluetooth. So this device, this Bluetooth device, can connect directly to any Shelly Wi-Fi devices that has the Bluetooth inside, which means that around your house, you actually have a lot of gateways for Bluetooth. So if you are standing inside your living room and presses the device, this device will automatically connect to the closest Shelly device where you have enabled your Bluetooth gateway. If you are standing in your kitchen and you have another Shelly device in your kitchen, then it will just connect to that device and use that as a gateway to the internet. So it's quite clever that we can now combine all of the benefits from Wi-Fi and from Bluetooth in the same devices. So we have the low energy, which works much faster and lasts much longer for the battery. This button has a single push function, double push, triple push, and a long push function, and it supports around 500,000 of pushes on a single battery. One cool thing actually is that because it connects to the closest device, you can set it up in a way so if you stand in your kitchen and press it, it will control your kitchen light. If you stand in your driveway and press it, then it can open and close your garage door because it will know basically where you are. But you have to set that up. Then we have the door window sensor, and I like this device quite a lot because it's a very compact, very small door window sensors, and it supports open close functionality. It's also based on Bluetooth. It supports tilting functionality, so it can show you how many degrees a door window has been tilted. And if you can see the black dot here, it has built-in lux sensor, brightness sensor, so it will also show you the brightness level. It comes in 3 different colors: white, black, and brown. And then we have here, I'm sorry for the quality here, a small motion sensor. Very small and compact battery operated Bluetooth motion sensor. It should last for around 5 years. The detection is very strong, so if you cross it in the right way, it can detect you up to around 20 meters. I know that for a fact because I have this located inside my living room, and when I walk in the night inside the kitchen, up to 20 meters away, it will detect. I simply need to go to the app now and set the sensitivity. You are able to do that, so you can go to the app and set the sensitivity of the blue motion sensor. Good. It also has built-in lock sensor, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Now, because you are so kind to join this webinar, I'll show you something which is not officially released yet. So I'll just show you. You cannot talk loudly about it, but this one is a small button that comes out soon. Shelly Bluetooth, IP65, maybe more. And then we have another Bluetooth sensor, which is Shelly Blue HNT. They will come in different colors, and they will be released very soon. But it's still confidential information, so it's only for you who joined this webinar. Good. We have some accessories as well. So this is all non-smart wall switches, single switch, dual switch, and a 4 switch, and then a wall socket. I know there are some UK guys here. We also have a UK wall socket, as well. On the back side of these wall switches, you can attach a relay holder, and by that you can connect your Shelly device to the back side, simply just to save space while installing these devices. So that's the idea behind it. Good. I already mentioned about using Wi-Fi. So I'll go through this a bit quickly now because I want to go to the programming part soon. But just to be very clear, if you would like to make a more professional installation, I have some recommendations for you. So this is recommendations for professional installations. If you want to do like a basic, just to buy a few devices, play around with them, you can connect these devices to any Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz wireless network. But if you do like a complete house full of Shelly or a complete building, office or something like that, I recommend you to first of all install a router of a good quality. It could be Ubiquiti, Unify. It could also be a TP-Link, Sykes or something like that. Just buy something which is better than the one you're getting from your internet provider, because they typically sucks a lot. Not that it will not work, but for professional solutions. Next thing, ensure a good Wi-Fi network in your whole building. So install a couple of access points if necessary. I also recommend to set up a dedicated IoT network. Again, it's not necessary, but it's a recommendation because it gives you much more control, and you can set up a Wi-Fi name and SSID, which you can easier hand over if you someday would like to sell your house. So then everything will just work when you sell the house. You can leave your Wi-Fi equipment and things will just work, including your wireless automations. I also recommend to set static IP addresses if you have many devices. In my own house, I had like 50, 60 devices without static IPs. But when I installed more devices, they somehow tried to use the same IP address, and then devices started to go offline. So after I set static IP addresses, it has become much, much more stable, extremely stable. And then, as I mentioned, keep your router part of your house. So when you sell your house, leave your router inside the house, because then everything will just work when new people are moving in. One important key factor here is that by using Wi-Fi, there's no limitation of how many devices you can connect. Basically, there is a limitation of around 400 devices on our cloud. If you need to install near that or more of 400 devices on the same cloud, please contact us, because then we will find a solution to dedicate more cloud space or something like that. But basically, that's the limitation. The other limitation comes from your router, your internet equipment. All devices has a built-in range extender functionality. I forgot to mention that. So I like this. If you have like dead spots around the house, then you can activate range extender function of this device, which can generate a wireless network that the other device can connect to. It's one of the built-in features we have. And this is also cool if you have an electric panel made of metal with no Wi-Fi inside. Then you can connect the LAN cable inside the first Pro device, and then you can activate the range extender function on this device, which is LAN connected, and then generate a small wireless network inside your electric panel, which all other Pro devices can be wireless connected to. That's just a small tip. As said, for all Plus, Pro, and Gen 3 devices, we have built-in Bluetooth as well, for a faster and easier inclusion of devices, but also to be used as a gateway for third-party devices and Shelly Bluetooth devices. So actually, we are also able to connect third-party Bluetooth devices to Shelly over Bluetooth if you want to. LAN connection, of course, for all DiNRail Pro devices. Good. Now it comes to something which makes Shelly unique and different from many others. Let me grab some coffee first. So Shelly has the built-in web server. And what does that mean? It means that when you only need one device to connect it to your Wi-Fi, and this device has built-in memory and web server, which gives you a lot of functions which you normally would use some kind of a gateway for to get if you were using Zigbee or Z-Wave or Bluetooth. But on Wi-Fi, we can have these functions built in on a single device. It means that a lot of features will work even if the internet goes down, because it will memorize settings that will still work, and it will, all Shelly devices will like remember sunrise, sunset. If the internet goes down, it will remember your schedules and so on, because they are built inside the device. Good. So when you connect a Shelly device, then it generates its own access point. If you want to, you can try to connect to it from your computer or from your smartphone, and then open a browser and enter the IP address 192.168.33.1. Then you will access the built-in web server, from where you can turn on and off the device. You can make scheduling. You can connect it to your own Wi-Fi at home, completely without the use of the Shelly app. So I recommend you to try it, because it's quite fun and really shows how many built-in features we have. So now I'm going to explain to you the main features. We have a lot of features built in, but these are the main one where we really differentiate from others. So we have, of course, as mentioned, the built-in web server. We have built-in Wi-Fi, so you can connect up to 2 different wireless Wi-Fis to the device. We have built-in access point mode, built-in Bluetooth. We have a built-in range extender. We have input and output functions. So on each Shelly device with a relay has its own input. So typically, if there's a single relay on the device, it has a single input. A few devices has 2 inputs. For example, the 2-channel devices, of course, also have 2 inputs. The dimmer has 1 dimmer, but it has 2 inputs because of a dual mode function. You can define how these inputs should work on every single Shelly device. So if they should be set up in button mode or in switch mode. In button mode, you have this spring operated button or wall switch. So it supports a single short push, a double short push, triple short push, and a long push. And every single Shelly device supports this on the input. If you set it up in switch mode, it just uses the normal regular on-off wall switch function and reacts on that. Good. That's the input settings. You can also define the output settings. So how the device should work on the output. Good. We have auto on and auto off timer built in. I will show you in the live demonstration how it works. But it remembers it, so you can make the devices turn off after a certain time, after they have been turned on, for example. We have built-in scheduling, so you can easily set weekly scheduling, like Monday to Friday and Monday to Sunday. You can turn on the light at sunrise, sunset, or in a specific time range. Oops, I did something wrong here. Sorry. We support MQTT, RPC over UDP, and WebSocket. It is more advanced if you want to do more advanced integrations, but then you can use these features. We support night mode, so for all dimmers and for bulbs which support dimming, you can set a night mode. So in a certain time range, you can make the lights turn on at a lower on a lower brightness. Power on default, so you can easily define what should happen after a power outage. If they should go on, go off, or restore the last mode. Built-in scripting. Note that this only works for all 2nd and 3rd generation devices, so Plus, Pro, and Gen 3 devices. But then we have the built-in scripting engine. Power metering, of course, it's only for PM and EM versions, but then you are able to read the live consumption and also historical data. We support HTTP commands, also called webhooks, so we can send these commands, which is they looks kind of like a web address. So they are basically using the local Wi-Fi to send a local turn on, turn off, toggle command or something different. This can be used to make local programming, but it can also be used to control third-party devices that supports this. And then we have the built-in protection, built-in over temperature protection, built-in over voltage, over current, and over power protection, which you can set here. Of course, there are some limitations. So like the over voltage protection can go up to 280 volt, but then they can shut off, turn off, and protect your connected device from over voltage. So all of these functions works locally. They're built in inside the devices. That's the whole idea behind the Wi-Fi concept, because it's not possible to do with the Zigbee or Z-Wave devices. This is what Shelly makes Shelly really special. Good. We have the app as mentioned, but if you go to control.shelly.cloud, then you are able to log into your Shelly account and control your devices from a browser. I will show this just in a while how to do this. I will skip this very quickly because I will show you live instead. But you have the room overview here, and from the room overview you are able to see what is the temperature, are there any motion, what is the brightness, what is the power consumption inside your room. Live from the app you are able to control your devices and access all device settings here. You can create groups, you can make advanced programming from the scenes, which is basically or very intuitive to do. You can set up alarm zones, you can create dashboards up to 5 for free. The app is for free, by the way. But we have made some premium subscription as well. So if you order premium, then it costs €4 per month. Then you can have up to 20 dashboards. You will also get a higher resolution of your energy consumption. For free, you have power metering for every hour. So every hour we will store your power consumption. If you buy the premium subscription, you will get power metering per single minute. That's the difference, and that's basically why we are adding this subscription, because it's 60 times more data we need to store on our online servers. It's a lot of data. You can define what type of device you have connected appliance. So you can define if it's heating, lighting, entertainment, laundering, cleaning, and so on, which gives you a more detailed consumption overview. Real-time power metering. We have historical power metering, electricity tariffs, so you can set the price of your electricity, so you can get a quite good idea of what does it cost to have these devices running. How many euros have you spent on lighting and heating and so on? It will be possible for you to monitor. You can set up thermostats, and we also have the activity log. There's a nice feature. So if you have like a summer house or more accounts, then in the upper right corner you are able to add different profiles and quickly shift between different accounts and profiles and homes without log in and log out to every single account. That's the basic features. There's a lot of more features, and then we have the premium subscription, of course, where we are trying to add much more, also AI functionality, and I would like to highlight those. So, for example, we have where is it? Device failure detection. It says coming soon, but it already works now. So, for example, if you have a power metering device like this power meter device behind your fridge, which is quite stable normally in its power consumption, if it starts becoming unstable, the Shelly app will automatically notify you and say, be aware, because your freezer is becoming unstable. Maybe you should call and order a service or buy a new freezer instead, because it might go off soon. So these are some AI features we're implementing. The forgotten light reminder will automatically recognize how you're using your house, when, on each, on which days of the week you're turning on and turning off the lights, and if your lights has been on for a longer time without outside of normal period, it will notify you on the phone and say, hey, maybe you forgot to turn off your light. So we're adding more AI features as well. Here is a list of useful links you might want to use. So here you can see the link for our web browser app, a link to the online community, the Facebook group, YouTube page, a support ticket, webhooks overview, API documentation, scripting examples, and buying diagrams. So a lot of useful links. And of course, as said in the beginning, you will get the presentation later today together with the recorded session. And at the same time, you will also get all of our contact information. Yes, please don't log off, leave yet, because we're not done. You can still ask questions. Oh, that's a long question, Matt. Can we take that later? We'll take it at the end of the session. Now I will go to some live demonstration. So I'll change my view here. 1 second. Like this. I think you are able to see my browser now, right? Good. I just went to control.shelly.cloud. When you do that, now I'm automatically logged in. But normally you will just have to log into your Shelly account. It will start on the dashboard. You can see here I have made 5 different dashboards. I have my overview with the devices that I use the most. I have a overview of my floor plan, my ground floor, where I have quick access to the rooms in my ground floor. From this overview, I'll be able to see what is the temperature in each room, what is the power consumption, are there any activity, and what is the brightness inside each room on my ground floor. I can quickly here check my pool pump. And I have also made a group from where I can quickly turn on. I never use that, but I can also quickly turn off the whole ground floor. I use that every evening, actually. When we go to bed, we want to lie in the bed a bit, watch some television, then it's quick and easy just to press one button, and then I know that all of the lights have been turned off on the ground floor, but not on the first floor where we will be. The same I did for the first floor. I also made a temperature overview here. So on the ground floor, I'm using radiator thermostats here, so I can quickly access and change the temperature here. I can see if my floor heating from the first floor is turned on or off. I can see if my circulation pump is running. I've also made a group of all radiator thermostats, so I can quick and easy change all of the temperatures here. Change the temperature of my virtual thermostats like this. It's quick and easy. And then I made a dashboard of my alarm zones. You can see I have some offline motion sensors here. It's because I'm changing right now from the old Motion 2 to the new Bluetooth sensors. So that's a project which is going on for me at the moment. I can quickly check if my door and windows are opened or closed. But that's the dashboard, and you can quick and easy create a new dashboard or add new devices, groups, alarms, rooms, scenes, or thermostats to your dashboard. It's just about pressing the plus icon here to add devices. If you want to change or delete anything, you press the pen here, then you can move around with your devices, and you can delete devices if you want to do so. Good. In the right side here, you have your quick status overview. So you can see, if you have premium, you can see some weather information. I don't believe it's important, but you can do that. You can see the live consumption. So I have currently 623 watt of consumption. I have 118 devices connected. 21 of those are offline. It's not because the system is very unstable. I have so many offline devices, but I have a lot of demo equipment which is disconnected. So that's the reason for so many offline devices. You will see here live overview of the most consuming devices. And I also have some notifications here. So I need to reboot my pool pump. Okay. There's a device here with bad Wi-Fi signal. I might need to do something about that. And yeah, a few other devices I need to reboot. Good. Yeah, keep asking questions. I will take the questions in a while after showing the live app. So we'll take questions in 5-10 minutes. Good. If you press or go to the My Home in the left side here, then you will be able to see all of your rooms. So that's all of my rooms. It's pictures that I've just uploaded of each room. I can quickly, as mentioned, see what is the temperature and if there's motion and so on in the rooms. If I press on the plus button here, I'll be able to create a new room, give it a name, and add a picture. I can even upload my own picture. If I edit a room, I go to the edit mode here and edit a room, then I can choose, okay, which picture do I want? I can change the name, but I can also select which device I would like to have sensor information from on the front screen. So you might have multiple temperature sensors inside a room. Then you can select which device, from which device do I want to read my temperature information. All right. If I press a room here, then I can see all of my devices inside a room. Let's try to go to the hall here. That's a good example. Where is it? Hall. If I go to my hall here, you can see I have different kind of devices. I have my my Shelly dimmer to control my lighting in the hall. Right now it's 17% brightness, which is consuming 3.57 watt. If I increase the brightness, then you can see here that the power consumption changes to around 22 watt. So it reacts quite fast, and I can of course control it, turn it off, turn it on here. I can go to all of the device settings here, so I can see historical data from the energy consumption. I can see the timestamp when it has been turned on and off exactly. I can make the auto on and auto off timer. So let me try to do that. So first I turn this device off just to show you. Then I will make an auto off timer of 8 seconds. If I save that, now when I turn on this device, it will start counting down, and you can see that. And after 8 seconds, it will automatically turn off the lamp. So that's how easy it is to create an auto on and auto off timer. I'll just turn it off again. Scheduling, you can do it from here. And if I add a schedule, press the device, go to the schedule, the calendar, I can add a schedule. Then I can quick and easily make a schedule, let's say from Monday to Friday. It could be based on sunrise, sunset. But on a specific time as well, I would like to turn on the light at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I would like to turn it on at 35% brightness, safe. Then I've made a simple schedule that turns on the light here Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. in the morning at 35% brightness. And you can add more schedules to turn off and turn on in the weekend and so on. It's very, very simple. Good, I'll delete that again. Here you can also see if you press the moon icon, you can set the night mode because this is a dimmer. So in the time from 9 in the evening to 7 in the morning, the brightness will only be 30% for this device. And all of these functions here are stored and saved locally on the device. So if the internet goes down or something like that, it will still remember when to turn on and off the light. And in this time, period here, it will only turn on at 30% brightness and so on. It will be remembered from the device. This icon is for the webhooks, which we will go more into in the advanced session next week. We have the Wi-Fi settings, so you can set the Wi-Fi information from Wi-Fi 1 and Wi-Fi 2. You can enable and disable the cloud. If I disable the cloud, I will not be able to control the device here from the browser, by the way, because it's cloud-based. There are some more settings, but not important for you. If you go to this clock wheel here in the bottom, the last one, the last icon here, we have the device-specific features settings. So this is a dimmer, so all of these settings is related to the dimmer. You can set the echo mode if you want to. Echo mode, it will try to run on a lower processor power, so it will run on a lower temperature and so on. It's up to you if you want to use it or not. I don't feel a big difference, to be honest, by using echo mode or not. Power on default, as mentioned, what should happen after a power outage? Button type, so you can set it up to single mode, you can set it up to dual mode, you can set it up as a toggle switch, edge switch, or detached mode. And I forgot to remember that all of the inputs, all devices can be set up in detached mode, which means that if you have input wall switch connected to this device, then if you set it up in detached mode, you are able to use the input from this device to control this device wirelessly. So it makes it possible to freely program your inputs of any device to control another device. Good. Dimmer calibration, I like that feature a lot. If you just press start calibration, then the device will automatically try to detect whether it should run in leading edge or trailing edge, depending on the type of light bulb you have connected. Button debounce, so you can adjust the sensitivity of the wall switch. Transition time can be adjusted. The button fade rate, so how fast it should increase or decrease the brightness. The minimum brightness, I always recommend you, when you have installed a Shelly dimmer, try to adjust the brightness as much down as possible. Sometimes if you have a high quality LED lamp, you can go down to 1 or 2%. But if you have a LED bulb of a very poor quality, you might even need to set a minimum brightness of 20% to avoid flickering or to avoid the device to turn off. When you have found like the minimum level for the nicest light you have, then you go to the settings, go to the minimum brightness, and then you set it here. So when you next time dim down to 1% in the app, it will be equal to 5%, like in this case. There's a question in chat that I need to answer right now. If a switch was turned off physically, would it still be able for Shelly to turn it back on? Yes, it is. And that's the whole idea behind Shelly. Shelly works with your wall switches. So you are simply connecting your wall switches to the input of the devices. And then you can turn on and off your smart lighting from your wall switches, but also from the app. You will never just cut the power to the wall switches. It just works like always. And if the internet goes down, it works like a normal relay. So I call it a smart installation stupid, because it works stupid like you always used to, but you have all of the smart features from the app, and it will always just work when you make it hardwired like this. All right, you can set anti-flickering, debounce, warm-up. I don't want to go into details with all of these, but I think you should try to play around with these settings. You can also do firmware upgrade from here. And all of these settings might be a slightly different from device to device, because the device functionality is different, as mentioned in the beginning. We have 8 minutes left. I will probably stay a few minutes more just to answer to your questions. But let me show you how to create a group. So to create a group, you can do it from the room, group, scenes, thermostats. But you can also just go to My Home here and do it from all groups, all scenes, and so on. If I go to My Home, go to all groups, I can see all of my groups at the moment. You can see that I've already created some groups here. For example, I have a group called Lights on the ground floor, and you can see there's a single light which is blue. It means that there's a single lamp in the ground floor which is turned on. If I press on the group here, and then I will be able to turn on and off all of the devices at the same time. I can also control the brightness of all of the devices at the same time. If I press this icon here, I'll be able to see all of the devices inside this group, and I can see which device is turned on and off. For example, this one is behind me, so I can turn it off here, and then it turns off behind me. You cannot see it. The table lamp. Good. If I want to create a group, I simply just press the plus icon right here, and then I can give it a name. We can call it relays. Let's just call it relays and give it a picture and press next. Then we can define in which rooms should this group be located. So I just locate it in the global room because it's a central function. Press next. And then I can define here, should it be a group of light, group of rollers, relays, thermostats. I want a group of relays. Next. And then I get a list of all rooms where I have relays inside. And then it's just about selecting all of the relays that I would like to include in this group here. So you can define it like this. Press save. And then I have my groups here. So I can see that 4 out of 5 of these relays are turned on, and I can control them all at once and so on. It's very quick and easy. I will delete this group again. Good. That's a good question. If you turn on the appliance and it's not worked for a reason, how can you detect that on the app? If you turn on a group and there's a problem by turning on or off one of the devices, it will notify you. Or you can just go to the group overview and see the status here. Good. The same goes for alarm zones. So it's quite simple to create an alarm zone. So just again, press the plus icon and then you can make an alarm zone. I can call it motion ground floor. Then I can make a simple group of zones for all of my motion sensors in the ground floor. Like this, press the next button. If there's motion detected now on the ground floor, I can define which push message do I want to get on the app. Click save, and now I have the alarm zone here. It's when it's lights blue around here, then it means it's activated. If I deactivate it, then I will not get any notifications, but if I activate it, then I will get immediately notifications when there's motion detected on the ground floor. If I press it here, I can quickly go and see the status of each sensor if there's motion or not. I will just delete this zone again. If you want to, you can also arm and disarm all of the zones at the same time. So if I arm them on this green shield here, then I'll arm all of my zones at the same time, and then I can also disarm them. All right, there's 4 minutes left, so it fits quite good. I have 2 more things. I will show you how to create a scene, and then I will show you the energy dashboard. So it fits all right with the time. I hope you have time for just to stay 1 minute more or 2 minutes more. If I go to all scenes, I can see all of my scenes here. Let me show you how to create a simple scene. So I hit the plus icon again to create a new scene. And I will, for example, try to make a scene. I'll call it turn on the light when motion is detected and when it is dark. So in this example here, I will try to turn on the light when there's motion detected, but only if it's dark inside the room. I hit the next button, and then I can select which room I would like to store this automation. I would like to store this in the hall because that's where we want to make the automation. And then it's very basic. You have to choose when condition when something is happening. So press add the condition, and in this case, it's a device based. It can also be based on another automation, based on sunrise, sunset, a time based, or it can be based on weather forecast. So basically, if you have the premium subscription, you can say if within the next 3 hours it is getting cloudy, or if the wind will be there will be a fresh breeze, then we can turn on the lights or get a notification. So you can really do a lot with these weather-based automations. But as said, this is device-based because it's based on my motion sensor that has to detect the motion inside the room. So I need to find the motion sensor, which I would like to use. So inside the hall, I have my Shelly Motion 2 sensor here. Then I have to select the device property. And as this is a multi-sensor, it detects motion, vibration, luminosity, temperature, and battery. Then I have to define exactly what do I want to base my automation on. I would like to base this on motion. So I press that, and then I can select here when motion is detected or when motion is not detected. Press save. So now I have the when condition when motion is detected. And now I get the option to select and conditioned or off or all conditions. I would like to select or create an and condition because I only want the light to go on if there's dark inside the room. So I press add condition, and again it's device based because the same motion sensor also detects the brightness inside the room. So I find my motion sensor here and I select the device property as luminosity. And from here I can select when it's dark, when it's twilight, when it's bright. And if there are some electricians or installers out there, I say, well, what does that mean? How many locks is that? This is to make it simple and easy for the user to do these settings on their own. If you want to play around and define when it is dark, you can do it inside the device settings of the motion sensor. Then you can say it's dark when it's below 50 lux, or it is bright when it's more than 500 lux, for example. You are able to define it, but this is to make it simple and user friendly. Press save. So now my automation says, when there's motion detected and when it's dark, then we can do something. I press the next button, and now I need to define what to do. I hit the add action button, and here you can trigger a device, you can trigger a group, you can send a notification to the phone by email, or you can activate another scene. I just want to basically find my light inside the room, and I would like to turn it on. Let me select the brightness as well, 45%. Good, that's it. Press the next button, define in which time you want this function to be active, and then press next and enable the scene. I don't want to execute it. Save. Now it is somewhere here, but I have a lot of scenes already, so just select the room here and find my hall, and then it's much easier to find this scene you just created, and it is here. When I press the scene, I get a quick overview where I can see what is going on with the scene. So when motion is detected and when it is dark, then we turn on my light and my dimmer here at 45% brightness. So that's it, that now it works. I can turn off the scene so it will not work, and I can turn it on. If I press the play button, I will just make a test if it works or not. So that you can do a lot with scenes. You can make it measure your power consumption and make things happen because of that, or your energy production and so on. So it's really, really a flexible way of doing automations, and it's very simple. And you can make them very advanced if you want to. The last thing I would like to show you, and I'm very sorry we are a few minutes over time. I'm glad that you are still here. I'll try to make it quick. This is my real-time power consumption. So you can see here I have a real-time consumption of 63 kilowatt at the moment or here you can see it is 629 watt I have currently. I can see that 347 watt is spent on entertainment. I have some unknown as well, which means that I need to install more Shelly devices to be able to monitor my consumption of the unknown devices. I have an unknown consumption because I have my Shelly 3 EM device right here. And this device is monitoring my total consumption on all three phases inside my electric panel. And I've defined this as the grid source. And that's why my Shelly system knows that my total grid consumption is 629 watt. And then I have a lot of other Shelly devices installed around, which is defined as entertainment, refrigeration, cooking, and so on. And the difference between my total consumption and the consumption from other Shelly devices gives me an unknown consumption as well. I can see the consumption from each room, from each device if I want to as well. And then we have the historical information here. So in the last 24 hours, I've been using 12.19 kilowatt hours, equal to 23 Danish crowns. I can also select and see what has my consumption been for the last month. Let's go to January. In January, I spent 1.12 megawatt hours, equal to 2,241 Danish crowns. I can see it day by day. I can also see it room by room and so on. So I really have a lot of details about my energy consumption here. And if you activate or buy the premium subscription, you will also get this tab here called monthly reports, and then you can get reports from every single month. If I go to December here, you can see that in December I spent 1.25 megawatt hours. The corridor light was the one that used the most consumption. Average most consuming hour was at 23 o'clock. The most consuming room was the basement. The most consuming day is the second in the month. And the average most consuming the day of the week was on Tuesday. You can see the average consumption per hour here. And you can also see it per day down here. So you get a lot of detailed information with this. Let me show you a tab which is not yet available for all of you because I have a test account, so that's why I can see this. But we are working on also to be able to show you how the distribution of your power is. So from the grid, I'm consuming now this amount of energy. If I had solar panels, I will be able to see what is my production from the solar powers, and if I had a battery package, also I would be able to see if I'm charging the battery or if I'm taking power out from the battery. So a lot of information, and here you are able to set the electricity tariff, so you can define some electricity prices, and you can add them to different times of the day to get a better idea of the cost of your consumption. Good. I will stop for now. It's 6 minutes over time. I will take some time now to reply to the questions you have entered in the chat. If you need to leave now, then thank you so much for participating in this webinar. As said, I will send out the recorded session as well, together with my presentation. I will spend a few more minutes here to take some time to reply to your questions. But thank you so much for joining the webinar, and hope to see you all in the advanced session as well. Good. Let's see. Okay, I got a lot of questions here from Matt. All right. A question about i4 models. So for a single retractive spring type light switch, it would only use one input, but could detect one push, double push, etc. Yes, exactly. Let me show you how it works, Matt. So if I go to my hall here, and if I here you can see For a single device with 4 inputs, it's actually showed as 4 devices in the app. So I have the input 1, the input 2, the input 3, and the input 4. And for each device, you can go to the settings here, and then you can define the input. So if it has to be set up as a button type or as a switch type. And you can see there's like a finger pointing here icon for this first input. It means that it has been set up as a button. So it can detect single push, double push, triple push, and a long push. And if there's a single push, yeah, you can see here for my my Bluetooth device, last push was a single push because there's a 1 dot here. If you press double time, you will see 2 dots. So you can see which kind of push combination has been made. This one here is set up as a switch, and you will be able to see that in the input settings here, because you can just see the on-off icon. So if this wall switch is turned on, then it will light blue. If it's turned off like it is now, then it will not light blue. All right. Again, another question about the i4 models. The only difference between the two sensors is that one is powered by 240 volt AC and the other is 24 volt DC. Yes, exactly. It's just what they can handle basically. So this one is for 110 to 240 volt AC, and this one is for 5 to 24 volt DC. Exactly. Shelly Plus Uni. Other than more flexible input, does it still have web server, Wi-Fi, etc.? Yes, it does. Let me see here. I might have one set up for testing. If I go to my office, I have the Shelly Plus Uni. It has the same functions, so you can see all here. It's set up on Wi-Fi. I can make my scheduling. I can make actions. I can also here, you can see I can do custom count expressions, report threshold, frequency. I can do a lot. I mean, it has so many functions. If you go to the settings here, you have input output settings just like everything else. So it does the same. It even has built-in Bluetooth, so it can be used as a Bluetooth gateway. So it works just as other Shelly devices. Exactly. Shelly Plus Smoke is kind of ugly. I don't know. Let me see. I mean, I don't know if there exists any nice looking smoke sensors. In my opinion, this is, I mean, it's compared to other smoke sensors I've seen, it's quite small. It's just wide, round device. Of course, always a matter of, I mean, if you like it or not. It's individual. But it looks like a traditional smoke sensor, in my opinion. There might be a new design in the future, but it's very basic design, I would say. Will it likely be refreshed anytime? I don't know, honestly. UK law requires all new buildings to have main powered smoke alarms. Yes, which interconnected by wire. I know that. It's the same in Denmark. No, it's not exactly the same, but we have kind of the same law. Unfortunately, we don't have any mains-powered smoke alarm. We have got a lot of requests for that, but what we figured out is that every single country almost have their own laws about for smoke sensors. So it's very difficult to make something which complies with all different laws in different countries, but I know there are some considerations. I'm not in the R&D department. I just know there have been some discussions for mains connected, but I cannot promise you anything if it will come or not. If a carbon monoxide sensor is coming, honestly, I don't know. But we are considering a lot of new different kind of sensors, so it might be coming, but I cannot tell you anything about when or if it will come. Yes, all devices are working on 2.4 gigahertz, not on 5 gigahertz, so be aware of that. I still get a lot of support questions from customers who say, I cannot connect this device to my Wi-Fi. And there are typically two reasons for why you cannot connect a device to your Wi-Fi. Either you're trying to connect it to your 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi network, it will not work, it needs 2.4 gig. Or you are just typing your password wrong. It's also a very common mistake. Typically, that's the two main reasons why it will not work. What about integration with Niagara platform? I'm very sorry, I don't know that platform. You can send me a request by email, then I will forward it, but I don't know that platform. I'm sorry. If there's a change, or if you change your internet provider, if you must reprogramming from scratch, no, you don't need to reprogram anything from scratch. So that's the charm, I would say, from Wi-Fi devices. It's very easy to change your Wi-Fi manufacturer. If you are changing your internet router, then you need to make sure when you're setting up the new router that you use the same Wi-Fi credentials when you create your wireless network. Then the devices will just pop up on the Wi-Fi when you install the new router. So it's easy to change Wi-Fi routers. But the settings is stored either in the cloud or on the device itself. So they will remain for sure. If a switch was turned off physically, would it still be able to shall it turn it back on? Yeah, it is. Sorry, I've already replied to that one. Yeah, Omar, I forgot you almost. If you turn on the appliance and it's not worked for you, I already replied to that question. Sorry. Yeah, all right. That's a question about the dimmer. 10 to 240 watt dimmer. If you dim less than 10 watt, would you need a Shelly bypass? No, typically. I mean, it's very difficult with dimming. I have a lot of light bulbs that is less than 10 watt, and it works perfectly. But it's a matter of the quality of the light bulb. But typically you only need a Shelly bypass if you are using the dimmer without the neutral. So the Shelly dimmer works without neutral. To work without neutral, you need at least 10 watt consumption. But if you have the neutral connected, you can go down and have used it with like a 2 watt light bulb if you want to, and it will work in 90% of all cases. All right, I think we got through all questions. If I forgot one of your questions, let me know in the chat. If not, again, thank you very much for joining this webinar. I'm so happy that you all took your time and stayed for so long. Matt, I just replied to a question about the dimmer, but let me try again. To dim less than 10 watt, you will not need a bypass. You will only need the bypass if you're not using a neutral wire. If you connect the neutral wire to the dimmer, in most cases you will be able to dim down 2 watt light bulbs or 5 watt light bulbs or even lower than that. I have a lot of light bulbs here less than 10 watt, and it works perfectly because I have a neutral connected. There are some advertisements that if you have less than 10 watt, you would need the bypass, but not if you have a good quality of light bulb. If you have a dimmer without neutral connected, you will need at least 10 watt or the bypass. Yes. All right. People are jumping off, and I will do as well. I need something to drink now. But again, thank you so much, everyone. Hope to see you next time, next week. Have a good day, right?